Hey guys, it is 3 o'clock my time, so it's about 6 o'clock on the East Coast. How are you guys? How has your day been? It's Monday, and it's been pretty quiet here today. I went searching for some yeast for baking. It didn't go well. Um, I did not find any, but I found a lead of So I do work, but I'm on mat leave. So he's still my boss, but it was his wife I seen at Safeway. She works there. And she said, just give me a call when you, like this evening, if you still need some, and we can work out something because I have some. I'm like, that would be fantastic. I just need a little bit. Just want to bake a little bit of bread and do a little bit of an Amish bread starter. I thought that I could use my sourdough starter and make Amish bread starter. But on reading, no, Amish bread is a type of sourdough starter, but you use yeast to start it instead of just flour and water. So I'm left looking for yeast too, because I do want to do all of it. I want to do my sourdough baking, and then I want to do some Amish bread, and then I want to do some just normal white. I don't do whole wheat. Some normal white bread baking. So, I figure, once every 5 years, I do a loaf of bread. Maybe I'll do a little more. We need to stay home a little more anyway, so might as well make use of the time, right? Not that I have a whole lot of extra time, but hey, I think I do. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are finding ways to occupy yourself. If you're waiting for shipments, please be patient with all of the companies. We're all trying to get our stuff as quick as we can. I'm finding things are a little slower too. Not a lot, but a little bit, like, an extra day or so. But we've got the orders placed with the companies that supply us, and they're getting them out the door as quick as they can, so we just need a little bit of patience with everybody. Normally everything only takes, a couple weeks to come to me, but now I'm finding it's taking like 3 weeks. So just a little bit of patience. I will get it out as soon as I get it. I have Omni frames that I figured would be here this week, and they're not. I figured they were gonna be here last week. FedEx, when they called me, said they'll be here on the 8th. I'm hoping the 8th, but all of those companies, FedEx, UPS, Purelator, all of them are saying, even Canada Post is saying, even though we say 2 to 3 days guaranteed, that guarantee is not right now. These are, extraordinary circumstances, so we can't guarantee what we would normally guarantee, which we all know that. We all know what it's like when we go into town and it's quiet and everybody's trying to stay 6 feet apart and still get stuff done. But one day at a time, stay positive, do whatever you can to do your part, right? That's all we can do, is control what we can control in the situation. That is ourselves and maybe our household, but that's about it. Other stuff. I haven't done go have a good walk. I'll be here after. I'm easy to find. Knitting is one thing that I do one at a time generally. I do have a pair of socks that are not going to work. They need to be taken apart and restarted. Well, not even restarted. That wool is not going to work. It's a worsted weight or a normal, like, 4-ply weight. And that's not sock weight. So I need to take it apart, use the wool for something else, and start with something better, like this kind of stuff. This is a fingering weight, or siren, I think it was called. I got it from, uh-oh, I think I wrote it down the other day. Because I was like, I felt so bad mentioning it, and then I couldn't remember where I got it. She put my nose on too. So that pattern looks like that. And it was created by Helen Stewart. Hey, same last name. I'm finding lots of people with the same last name. It's my married name. It's not my maiden name. Curious Handmade. She made this in 2017 as a knit bent. I am not changing colors. I can. I'm quite capable of changing colors. I just didn't want to. Michelle had that advent and had, For the Greater Good colorway. It's got orange and purple, and this one has sparklies in it. Of course, the camera's not going to pick that up. Either way, she had this in one of her bands or sections, and I really like the color. And I'm not even a big Harry Potter person. I like watching them, but I don't follow them. I like the movie while I'm watching it, and other than that, it's okay. It was a good movie. So I have been stitching it. I'm on like row 33. I'm about 16% through, which is fine. I haven't knit on it in quite a while. It's something that, is nice to pick up, do a few rows, put it back down. Or if I know I'm going to have some downtime, not very often being a mom of 2 under 3 and a 14-year-old, then I will, sit down and plan on knitting like 4 or 5 rounds and get a section done. But it's a really nice, easy to follow pattern. So that's the nice thing about it. And the pattern comes with like this checklist. Whoop! I totally just dropped that. The pattern comes with a checklist. So you check off each row as you go. Instead of having a stitch row counter, you just check off each row. Just don't forget whether you check it off when you finish it or whether you check it off when you start it. Pick one, stay with it. Just like our parking method. Ever have any questions about knitting? Don't ask me. I can direct you on where to go to find good information, but I can't show you. I just learned how to knit when my mom passed away. She was a very avid knitter, and I had tried to pick it up a few times and just did not get the hang of it. And like a month or so after she passed away, not even, a few weeks after she passed away, I picked it up and I knit a baby blanket, and there, I had it. Couldn't even celebrate it with her, but that's okay. So I can tell you where to find good information, usually YouTube, but that's about it. Patterns, Ravelry. Of course, there's tons in Michaels and all that, but we're staying home, right? So Ravelry is a good place to go check out. Crochet, on the other hand, I'm a little better at that. I still can't instruct you on that, but I love Mikey the Crochet Crowd. If you're looking to crochet, go see him. He is Canadian, and he does videos right from your first stitch all the way through. And not only does he do all those videos, he does it right-handed and left-handed. So he instructs with video both ways. So it doesn't matter whether you're right or left-handed. Go check him out. He's great. And all different crochet, like Tunisian crochet, all of it. Just if you're looking, if you have an inkling of interest in crochet, go check it out. Let's get back to what we discuss regularly on this channel, which is cross stitch. That is my avid thing, and it's only come back in the last couple years. I picked it up again, and I've missed it. It's been great. Crochet is what I was doing, and then I realized I couldn't put it down and pick it back up with a toddler. Well, he wasn't a toddler then. He was about 8 months old. And I couldn't put it down and pick it back up and start working on it again. I'd lose my place. And I couldn't find out where I was again. So, cross stitch, you mark off your pattern. If you have a working copy, you mark off your pattern. So, with marking off my pattern, I could go do what I needed to do, come back, and find my place again. Really easy, right? Of course, I was not touching full coverage at that time. Same thing though, you mark everything as you go. So Hilma asked, where do I find the time to knit and cross stitch? As you can see, I haven't touched this in a few weeks, at least. I don't plan on getting this done tomorrow or anything like that. And I'm only 15% through. So this is not a quick knit it up in a weekend and get it done. You probably could if that's what you were doing and didn't have 20 other things on the go. But that's not where I'm at. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Cross stitch. I got time to cross stitch last night. Not with other people though. I went to Zoom and I got all set up, and within 2 minutes my Zoom mate was like, I hear baby. And it wasn't baby, it was the toddler, but Dad was having a hard time getting toddler to go for bed, so Mom had to help. So that was the extent of Zoom. And then rather than call on that person again and say, hey, I'm available again, because my husband was going to watch TV, right there, and Zoom is right here. So I was like, no, I'll let him watch his show and I'll just stitch by myself. It's okay. I got a little bit of stitching done. I got 135 stitches in. Do you want to see? I'll show you. If you were around for the video yesterday or caught the video yesterday later, you got to see this work where it was then. I will give you guys a black screen for a minute, and then I will show you where I am now. There I am. So, yesterday I was partway into this orange square. I finished the orange square, but I didn't count that as my stitches. So, why am I counting stitches, you ask? Because I had to jump on the bandwagon with everybody else in semi-sane stitchers and start it's not shooting ladders. Frog? Give me a second. One sec. I will find it, I promise. Alright, groups. Semi-sane. No, back. There. Frogs and Stitches is what it's called. You go to the semi-sane group. You join up. Then you can do lots of things. They have... I gotta wait for it to open. One sec. My internet is slow. You guys can't tell. Well, maybe you can. Maybe my video is lagging ridiculously. But it's slow on my phone too. Alright. That group. Their events. Okay. So they have Alphabet Soup, which is a year-long thing. Every 2 weeks they change a letter. And it ends on the 7th, which is tomorrow. So I'm not worrying about that one. But the next letter is H. This is hands-on design. I'm counting these stitches for H when that one opens up. So on the 8th, whatever I've left will go towards that. So, Alphabet Soup is... You take a picture at the beginning. It's a non-counting event. You take the picture at the beginning on the 8th. And then you stitch your heart out. And you take a picture at the end and you say, there's my letter H. For hands-on design if you're stitching these guys. And then there's a Choose My Whip April. I'm not doing that. I barely have time to fit in this. I'm not giving multiple choices, but this is a thing where you give them 3 or 4 choices, or 2 or 3 or something. And everybody goes and likes the one that they think you should stitch, and then you stitch on that one for a focus piece. It doesn't mean that's all you stitch on, it's just that's your focus. You stitch more on it than anything else. And the other thing going on for April is Frogs and Stitches. And so it's Semi-Sane's version of Snakes and Ladders, and they have a game board. And you take that game board and you take some game die and you roll them. And if you can take your in-person die if you have a couple dice kicking around. I don't know where mine are. I have 3 kids. They're gone somewhere. So you roll them and you count your squares. So for me, go to saved. This is the fastest way to find it. If you do it, save it. So I have my board and I rolled a 6, I believe. Yeah. So that put me on square 7. So I had to stitch 125 stitches. That was all to say this. I didn't count those 9 squares because I was half done those stitches, so I said forget it. I will just leave those. So what I did though was from then on, so this square, these 2 butterflies, and these pink pieces, and those orange pieces all counted for my 100 and I was supposed to stitch 125. In my head, I had 135 and I stitched 139. That's okay. I stitched what I needed to stitch. So then I rolled again because you just keep going until you reach the end of the board. And I rolled a 9, so I'm on square 16, and that means I have to do 130 stitches. This is not the first time this has been mentioned in FlossTube, guaranteed. I heard about it from Michelle Bendy. I was kind of in the Saturday combo when they were all doing the Wheel of Fortune, Stitch of Fortune, I don't know. They were talking about Semi-Sane then, with Michelle Bendy and a bunch of us in the group on Zoom, and I was interested, but I was like, oh no, I don't have time for that. And then Michelle put that she was doing it and was talking about it in her FlossTube, and I'm like, you know what? It's not a team thing. I don't have to worry about disappointing anybody. It's a one-person thing. You're just trying to challenge yourself to stitch more. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. The only person I'm going to let down is myself. Hey, that's okay. If I don't make it, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So, let's find some more stitchy time, right? So, that's why I did that. And then I also want to do a little more of, I'm sure you guys have heard of this group too, is Enchanted Stitchers group. They again don't worry so much if you don't get points every week. I mean, it's nice to help with your group, but you don't have to help with your group. Okay, so this one starts now, I think. And this one you get 3 categories. You get Noble, Knight, or Royal. Noble is 30 minutes. That I could do. I could do 30 minutes. Knight is 50 stitches per task. Royal is 250 stitches per task. Yeah, 250 stitches is not going to work. Anyway, you get points according to which one you put in. And so you take each task and you take a picture at the beginning and you say, I'm going to count this toward this task, and you do your time or stitch count and take your picture to show that you did it and put all that in. This week, which has just come out, there's 4 prompts. So there's Lightning McQueen has 2 main rivals for the Piston Cup, Chick Hicks and Strip Weathers, aka the King. To show which of the rivals you support, stitch in one of their colors, red for Lightning McQueen, blue for the King, and green for Chick Hicks. Well, I'm going to have to find another project for that one. Because I could ask if pink could be used, but I'd rather, I have Canadian Beauty. I could bring her out. Or Celtic Noel. Celtic Christmas. Number 2, Lightning McQueen is hoping to become youngest piece, most recent start. This one, half an hour stitching for sure. Maybe I'll do the 50 because I have to do the 130. Hey. I'll do the 50 for this one for prompt 2. In the final lap of the race, Lightning's higher stitch on a piece that has something with a tongue in it. I'm going to have to ask them, and I'm sure it's probably been asked, so I'll have to look on the group, if has a tongue in it, maybe that can mean a person because they obviously have a tongue in their mouth. Maybe, or an animal, a dog or something. So I'll have to find out. Butterflies won't work. I'm not going to inspect and see if a butterfly has a tongue. Alright, the fourth one. Lightning's arrogance and refusal to make a pit stop nearly cost him to lose the race, and it does cause him to lose his pit crew. They all quit in frustration after the end of the race. Stitch on a piece that frustration. I'll have to find one that frustrates me. I can't think of which one it would be on the top of my head because there's a few. It is a great time. I'm thinking I might try and do a little more of that because we're being asked to stay. Are you finding you have more time for your crafts or less time? I mean, I was not baking sourdough bread 2 weeks ago, I guarantee that. I guess it didn't start 2 weeks ago either, did it? How long has it been, you guys? It's been, wow, a month. Because everything was just starting to come out or just starting to become a concern when I was going to Nashville. And Nashville was a month ago. Wow. The time has gone. But I hope you guys are finding new ways to cope with extra time or maybe extra stresses because your spouse is laid off. That can be a good thing. I know. Everyone's like, really? A good thing? In different aspects, right? I am enjoying the fact that my husband is home. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's times where I'm like, really, you're cramping my style. You're making it difficult for me to do what I do on a daily basis. I know you're not meaning to, and I know you're just trying to help by asking stuff, but you're just making it difficult for me. And, sorry. I gotta make sure I don't mess this up just because I'm stitching with you guys. So, yeah, we've been kind of semi-preparing for this because he's been home for almost a year. He was home for about, let's see, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. He was home for about 6 months and then went injured again. And so he was home again for August, September, October, November, December. He was going back to work again, so he was home again for another 4 months. And he wasn't just home, he was injured. So he needed help, and he needed medicine, and he needed stuff organized, and he was stressing. I mean, anyone that's dealt with someone with a back injury knows what kind of stress the other person can be under. And yeah, it's difficult sometimes. And I kind of chuckle there because my back's been bothering me for a few months, but for me it's a nuisance. Sometimes it flares up and it's really sore and it's really hard to move, and sitting in this chair does not help. But it's not enough to debilitate me. Like, my husband couldn't get out of bed. Even with my help, he could not sit up and then stand up. He was bedridden. That's how injured his back was. Mine's not like that. I'll get shooting pain once in a while if I move a certain way, but it's not debilitating where I physically cannot get up. It's just a little bit painful, but I'm not worrying about it right now. I had an x-ray just before I went to Nashville. But I haven't bothered to phone the doctor and ask for results or get on anybody's case about it with COVID going on, because I don't want to go into the doctor if I don't have to. Painful enough that I need the doctor to prescribe pain meds. I'm just not going to worry about it. He did tell me to take a leave because it can make the symptoms worse. Yes, make the symptoms worse. So, not like I've been home for months. The fact that I could be exposed when I'm in town, it's like, no, I just won't take a leave because it could make me sicker if I do contract it, get it. So, I just deal with it. One day at a time. It's all good. That are quite upsetting for you, I'm sorry that you're dealing with it. I mean, a lot of people say, well, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not taking it well. It's like, no, but you're still dealing with it. You may not be happy about the situation and you may not be optimistic about the situation, but you're still handling it, because the reality is you can't do anything else, right? It's not something we can just ignore the emotions or whatever you need to do, right? If you want someone to, I am here. Sorry. I figured my husband might be pulling in, but every once in a while we get a vehicle goes by, it sounds like someone pulled it. So if you guys do want to talk, don't feel like you can't reach out to me. I'm around. Definitely try and find my personal Facebook as opposed to the business page. I have a few people that message on the business page and I feel terrible because I don't always get the message right away. When people message me on my personal, Alicia Stewart, I get it right away. It comes in on my phone right away. So I prefer people message me personally. But, some people find it easier to find the business page than, search through 10 Alicia Stewarts that come up and aren't sure which one's which. So, please, if you're feeling stressed and just need someone to say, hey, talk to me, message me. Sometimes I don't get to message right away because, I'm feeding the baby or just putting her down or dealing with a toddler who, the crayon not going in the right spot is the end of the world for him. So, gotta learn to handle those emotions, right? He has no concept of what's going on in the outside world. My older daughter has an idea. We talk openly about what is going on, what we're hearing in the news, and what we're seeing online and stuff. So she has an idea, but I don't think any of us can truly grasp what we're actually going through. If you know what I mean, like, I don't know of a time that I've ever had to deal with all this kind of stuff. Usually if there's a world event, it's in one part of the world, and I'm like, oh, well, that's unfortunate for China or Russia or Japan or wherever that situation is going on. And I mean, there's times where it's Canadian involvement too, and I'm like, well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully the government does what it needs to do and we get through this as best as we can. But this is different because it's the whole world. And it's not even, like you read about in the past with all the war and stuff like that, or wars, because there was multiple ones. Those were different countries involved. And if Canada wasn't involved, it's kind of like, well, that's unfortunate for those two countries. Hopefully, if we're called upon, we can make the best decision as a country. But that's what's going on for them. Now it's everybody, not just, country A and country B aren't getting along or whatever, or anything like that. It's everybody. It's humanity, not just our individual countries. Our individual countries are managing things differently. Some may agree or not agree with what's being managed and how it's being managed, but everybody's just doing what they can for their area, right? Um, yeah, not to get too political, right? I don't generally get too involved with all of that stuff. I like to know what's going on, but I feel whoever's making decisions makes decisions to the best of their ability, and I have faith in that. So hopefully they are. And we will see what the outcome is. What about you guys? What do you guys have going on? I do like it if you guys comment down below. Especially when it's like, oh, can you discuss this, or can you do an instruction on this or a demo on this? I feed off of those. They help me plan. Not that I really plan anything, right? I just say, hey guys, I'm going live. Who wants to join me? I just fit you guys wherever I can. Wow. I just yacked for half an hour with no plan. My dad would say, yeah, that's normal. Everyone says, oh, you can't wait for children to talk, and then they start talking. Yeah. I'm sure my parents felt the same way. Being that I was hearing impaired, I'm not positive, but I may have taken longer to start speaking. But now they're like, really? That one doesn't need a response right now. I hope you guys are. I've been meeting a lot of new ones too. I've been watching Bendy Stitchy and Carolyn Off the Grid, usually within a couple hours of their posting. Depends on what's going on with the kids. And then I've been watching Sam Bree Stitches. She mentioned my little freebie pattern, which reminds me, I'm gonna try and create a little link on the group. I don't know, maybe I'll do it not on the group, sorry, on the web page. And maybe I'll try and do it on the home page or something. Create a little link, and then you guys will be able to find the little freebie that I put out. It says stay out of my bubble, and it's just a little Quaker bubble-ish type design. Just a little thing I had floating in my head when I started seeing all these designers put stuff up. I'm like, oh, I could do something. I don't have 10 designs sitting in the back or anything like that. It's just something I was like, oh, I want to see if people like this. By all means, if you do like it, go ahead and let me know, and then, I have an idea of whether I should pursue any designs. Maybe just the one-off, right? I'm going to do my little pin stitch here. I'm going to do it under the stitch I just finished. I should have maybe left myself a little more room. Who likes playing chicken with the thread? I do. I do it all the time. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to bring this back. I'll bring it back to give myself ample room. And then I will end it on the bottom stitch. It's just a little easier to end sometimes that way. If you're wondering what I use Pat Carson needles. They're the long-eyed needle, and they're gold-plated in the eye. They're a little more expensive than Boheen or John James, but I really like them. I find it easy to thread, as you can see, without a needle threader. Another one that I have in the store is Easy Guide needles. I know, Easy Guide fabric, Easy Guide needles. The Easy Guide needles are the ones with the ball on the end, and they're great. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are a nice needle, but I have a hard time threading the eye of those without a needle threader. And I get caught when I'm running it underneath to find my net stitch. Maybe it's because I'm stitching on a linen and I'm not just going to the net stitch. I'm oftentimes counting over. I'm not sure. I just find them more difficult. So I just prefer the Pat Carson needles. I pulled my thread. Let's see, can I do this underneath without looking? I know. Let's see if I actually manage to do it. Nope, not that time. Might take a minute. I know, you're asking why don't you just flip it over? You're working with the Lowry. The reason why I won't just flip it over right now is because I have the camera on it. So, I have my camera set up on my Almanique frame so that you guys can see what I'm stitching. You know what? I don't know why I'm worrying about it. I tied it off so I can actually just trim it. Let's see. Here's my scissors. Cute little scissors. I think they're Boheen. I don't currently have these in stock, but they're little ladybug scissors. Actually, why am I reaching so far away? Let me show you guys there. See? Little ladybug scissors. Might focus a little better. There we go. Grab a little more thread so I can finish up the pink here. I have this butterfly to finish, and then I have going around the sign that said, and then I will change colors. I've been trying to do it as a color complete. Normally I do the one that's closest to the top left, where I like to start. And if that one's the second one in, then I finish that one and I go back to the top and I work my way down. But this time the top one, closest to the left, was actually the bottom thread, or bottom in the thread list. And so I decided, alright, I'm going to do things different and I'm going to work my way up the list instead of down. Just something to do. What's your guys' preferences? Do you like to start at top, work your way down, start in the center and count? There's so many different methods that we use. Compared to what we were taught, I was taught you start in the center. And I think my mom always had me start in the center and do the left quadrant, top left, and then work with a nice little dimensions kit. I think it was a little flower, like roses or something. But my aunt Louise, she used to cross stitch me pillows. I want to say every year, but I could be wrong. Depends on how much time she had on her hands. But they were full-size pillows, like 10 by 10 or 11 by 11 pillows. And I had so many of them, and I'd like just looking at the stitches. All depends if there's a border or frame, never in the center yet, for Hilma, for stitching. I honestly, now that I know what I know about stitching, I don't think I'd ever start in the center if I don't absolutely have to. And I mean, I like my math enough that now, maybe if it was a mysterious pattern, a mystery pattern, and they were releasing the first part as a centerpiece, like they did with Sneak, for those of you that were part of that, Sal. With Sneak, they released the center pattern first, so you had no choice but to start there if you wanted to start stitching with everybody else. I did start there in the center, but I tended to gravitate to the one part of the page that, was, I never finished that one. I actually went to grab the Sal stuff after. They warned everybody, don't get me wrong, they warned everybody that so and so was closing and everybody better go and get their PDFs and all that, and I didn't. I didn't follow instructions right away. I just went, oh yeah, I'll deal with that later, and then didn't. And so I lost my pattern of Sneak. And as much as I like that pattern, it's not one that I'm like, oh, I absolutely love that. It was one that I wanted to do with everybody else, and everybody else ended up way ahead of me. My stitching time was not as bountiful as I thought it was going to be. So everybody ended up ahead of me, and as I said, I never went and got my pattern when I was supposed to. So, and I honestly can't tell you the name of that pattern right now because I haven't got it started. Because I think I purchased it after January 1st. I could be wrong. I could have made sure I purchased it before January 1st and threw a couple stitches in, but I'm not positive that I did that. I know it was right around that timeline, and I was like, oh, if I go ahead and get this now, then I don't have to worry about my whole 2020 no new starts. I can start it before the year. But I don't think I did. I think I just put it on the back burner and stuck with the, 40 other projects I have. Because I have a few. Well, guys, I have been yakking your ear off for the past 45 minutes. So, I should probably, just 1 second. You know what I mean, right? You're like, wait, let me finish this half a stitch first. My husband's like, and how long does half a stitch take? Because half a stitch takes 10 minutes or an hour, depending on what kind of mood you're in. Alright, guys. I will talk to you another day. Probably try tomorrow. Just depends on what's going on with the kids and the husband and, the household. I'm hoping that my package from Monique is here Wednesday. That will make for a very busy day on Wednesday because I will get the package home, I will unpack it, check the quantities, pack up what I need to pack up from outstanding orders, and get them shipping labeled all ready to go so that I can either take them down to the post office Wednesday night or Thursday morning. So Wednesday could be a very busy day, so I probably won't make it on Wednesday. I'll try, but no guarantees. Sorry. But as for tomorrow, it's pretty likely that I may have a few minutes during nap time that I can come visit you guys. Please feel free if there's something you want me to show you how to do. By all means, let me know. If it's instructions on reading a pattern, I would have to use one of my own. So, but I think most of us know how to do that. But if you're like, well, how do I do this or that? Just message. I'm happy to help anytime. If it's working out how to math better for setting up to do, start in the top left corner, bottom right corner, whatever you want to do, let me know. I'm always happy to help. And one of these days I'm going to do a video, not live. I'll do a video where I can edit it, and I will do instructions on how to Zoom, or I'll do a screenshot with screenshots with PDF, and make a PDF file I can just send people. That might be better. Rather than people having to watch a video, they could just get a PDF file with screenshots that say, do this, select this button, fill out this with this information, and then that will allow you guys to Zoom. And not just with me. If you guys join Virtual Stitchers, they're the Zoom group. They're the ones that have, tons of people on all the time. And if nobody's on, just post in the group, I'm going to the room, COVID or COVID free room, whichever one, main room or COVID free, and I guarantee you there'll be at least 5 other people that jump on, because they're just like you, sitting at home stitching and going, nobody's in the room, and then someone goes, hey, I'm going there, and everyone goes. It's great, and you get to meet people. But if you want to stitch with me and a couple other people that are, part of Bugs That Stitch, or just I maybe know them a little more than everybody else in the Virtual Stitchers group, I do try and get on. And I just kind of send a link to everybody. Hey, I'm going on, messaging you now. Do you have time? If you don't have time, don't feel like you have to go. Because I'm just messaging because I had free time, not because I expect you guys to be available. I know what that's like. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to kick my butt off of your guys' computer, and hopefully you guys have more fun stitching time, and message me anything you guys want to know, comment, like, subscribe, then you know when I'm coming on live next. Alright, have a great day guys. Bye!